Good day, Formula One fans. I hope you are doing well. You might have a week off of Formula One this week, no racing, but still some interesting news coming out. We just learned what will be the next chunk of the Formula One calendar for 2020, and also what race will not be on it. Very interesting day about that. Before we start though, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. So, we learned today, as I'm recording this, that 3 new tracks are being added to the Formula One 2020 calendar. We're gonna go after the race in Sochi to the Nürburgring in Germany, to Portiamo in Portugal, and to Imola in Italy, San Marino. This is very interesting because these are 3 tracks that we have not raced on in a while. Actually, some of them we just never raced on, period. So, first off, the Nürburgring in Germany. Last race there was in 2013 and was actually won by Sebastian Vettel when he was still with Red Bull. Of course, it won't be the large Nürburgring, which I cannot pronounce the name, but it's gonna be the modern one, and it should go for an interesting race, meaning that we stay in Europe after Sochi. And the rookies of the paddock, the younger one, actually never rode on this track, so it's gonna be interesting. Then we go to Portugal on October 25th. Again, a track that was actually never used for a Formula One race, and that only Lewis Hamilton rode on for a practice day. So it's really a track where we know nothing about, and it's also the first time we are going to race in Portugal since 1996. So none of the current driver actually did a race in Portiamo. And the most interesting one, in my opinion, Imola on October 21st and November 1st. The San Marino track. Would it be called the San Marino Grand Prix? I don't know, but it's gonna be pretty cool. First time going back there since 2006. There's actually one of the current Formula One driver that raced in San Marino. It is the oldest driver on the grid, Kimi Räikkönen. He's been in Formula One since 2001, so he did a few races there, and I think it's nice to go to Imola because it is an iconic track. It is home to a lot of tragedy, lots of sadness. This is where Ayrton Senna lost his life back in 1994. Very sad weekend. But this is also where we had some very great races, and before going back racing a few weeks ago, AlphaTauri actually did a practice day there, and both driver Gasly and Kvyat were super happy and hoped that this track would be featured on the calendar, describing those high curbs and high speed turn with barely any room for error, because the walls are just so close once you put a wheel off the track. And it is also, like I said, the previous San Marino Grand Prix, which I hope will be called that way because it is a 3rd race in Italy. And what makes it super interesting, it will be a 2-day weekend event. Instead of having FP1, FP2, FP3, quali, and the race, we're only gonna have one practice session on Saturday, quali later on that same day, and then the race on Sunday. So how cool is that? I think it's gonna be maybe the FIA wants to try something with that, in a sense that we know that with the new rules coming up, we're gonna have probably 2 days event, or at least I know they're shortening the weekend with no interviews on Thursday. You're gonna put it on Friday. So this is an avenue that they are looking for, maybe to cut the cost if they want to do a 2-day event. But here that's only my opinion. I think if they shorten those weekends by a day eventually, and we end up with only 2 days of action on track, I think it would mean for people who go to the Grand Prix, well, we're gonna need cheaper tickets, which the promoters probably won't want to do, honestly. Because right now, for example, in Montreal, paying about $450 for the best tickets, which is not the most expensive of the Formula One grid, but also not the cheapest. I would not pay that just for a 2-day event. So maybe it's an avenue they want to explore, but yeah, they will have to adjust if they ever plan to do that with spectators. And speaking of Montreal, with the announcement that there will be a race in Portugal, Imola, Nürburgring, and that we actually continue in Europe after Sochi. The FIA also announced that there will actually be no races at all in America this year. So we are not going to Montreal, we are not going to the US, we are not going to Mexico, and we are not going to Brazil, which is really sad, but still very understandable in the current social context. Canada is fairly safe at the moment. Montreal is fairly safe. Barely any new and active cases of COVID-19. But, drivers and personnel would have to take the plane, and that's a risk. The US, well, I'm not sure I want to comment on that. It's just out of control over there, with people not caring, a president that do not care, and record number of cases every day and record number of deaths almost every day. So it's super understandable we're not going to the US. Mexico, well, it's close to the US border, and it's not the country that necessarily have the best healthcare system in the world. Not to discredit them at all, I don't want to do that. I think it's a great country, but in the current situation it's understandable. And Brazil, well, what can you say? Pretty much the same as the US. President that does not care, says this pandemic is a hoax, that he's himself sick, and talking to people without a mask. So, things cannot be better for them, right? But that does not mean we're gonna have a boring season. We're now at 13 races confirmed, and since this will be up to November 1st, and the usual season ends around December 1st, it means that after San Marino, we can have 2 Bahrain Grand Prix, Abu Dhabi, and we're gonna have 16 races right there in that 15 to 18 races that Chase Carey hoped we could achieve, and have actually a good season. 16 races is nothing to be ashamed about. That's actually the number of races that they had back in the 90s, and I remember when I started watching Formula One, it was 17 season race, starting in Australia and finishing in Japan. So that's actually pretty cool, a pretty decent season. Sad that we are not going to America and Australia. I would have to confirm, would it be 3 continents? The Arab Emirates, is that considered Europe, Asia, or Africa? I'm not sure. Maybe Asia. I don't know. And even Sochi, I'm not sure. Is it like officially in Asia or is it still in Europe? Because if you want to abide by the actual rules of 3 continents for a world championship, that would be ideal. But oh well. I won't complain too much. Honestly, I'm just super happy that we are having solar flare, that we are having so far a 13 race season and going on tracks that we've never been and that are just coming back to the calendar. Some great iconic tracks that at my age I barely even remember seeing races there. I know of San Marino because I still got the old 2001 and 1995 Formula One games on my PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 consoles. I know of the Nürburgring again, yes, because of those old games. Last time we went to Nürburgring is when I started really being serious about Formula One. I've been watching for a while now, since at least 2001 or 2002, but I haven't been like that hyper serious about it since 2012, 2013, when I actually started going to races here in Montreal, and also last year in Australia. So it's gonna be super cool. It's gonna bring back memories for a lot of die-hard Formula One fans. It's gonna show some new scenery to younger generation like mine, and I think it's just super cool that the FIA and Formula One management are really showing that they're doing everything that they can to keep this season afloat and make sure we have a great season for 2020 amidst all the crazy things that are going on, and just that COVID stuff that we hope will be finished by next year, that we can all go back to enjoying Formula One races live on track. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you appreciated this. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, that button somewhere below. I will see you again soon. Take care, always a pleasure, and have a good weekend. Ciao.